So this is going to be a very quick tutorial on how to make a paracord bracelet. So the first thing we're going to need is 2 pieces of paracord. So I've got a pink one and a rainbow one, and these are about meter and a half in length. A good way of measuring it is like the span of your arms, like this is what you usually need. And then what we need to do is butt 2 of the ends up together like this. And then we're going to just measure the person who's making the bracelet's wrists. Obviously for the children, it's going to be much smaller. But for me, I'm going to measure it round, and then I've got it here, and then I'm going to just grab where they meet here, and I'm going to give myself probably 2 centimeters extra, just move it down, and then I'm going to fold it in half at that point. So I fold it in half like that. So I've kinked it, and I've got 2 smaller strands that side, 2 longer strands. I'm going to get my buckle. This is much easier with the bigger buckles. There are the smaller ones, but they can be really tricky to get them in. With these bigger ones, you can just push it straight through, okay? So I've pushed it through like this, and I've got 2 loops here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the 2 strands, both the small one and the long one here, and I'm going to bring them up and through the loop. So I've got the 2 rainbow strands. The 2 rainbow strands are going to go through the rainbow loop. So there's 1, there's 2, and then just pull it all the way through. Okay, and then I'm going to do this exact same for the pink one. So I've got the 2 pink strands, and I'm going to bring them up and through this rainbow loop, through the pink loop, sorry. There we go. Okie dokie. So what you should have now, you should have something that looks like this. So you've got 2 smaller strands and 2 longer ones. So we need to keep the 2 smaller strands in the middle because this forms where our bracelet's going to go. So here are 2 smaller strands and 2 longer strands. What we can do, we can now put it down on the table, and you need the 2 small ones in the middle. It doesn't matter if they're not quite the same length. You can see these ones aren't, but that's okay. So I've got these in the middle. I've got the 2 long ones to the side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the colour I want in the middle. So in this case, I'm going to use the pink, and I'm going to make a loop over the top here. So I just brought it over the top of these 2 strands in the middle here. I don't know, can you see? Yeah. Over the top of these 2 strands here. And then I'm going to take the rainbow loop, and I'm making sure there's a loop left here with this pink one. Now I'm going to take the rainbow strand, and I'm going to bring this down so it comes over the top of the loop, with the strand we brought across here. And then I'm going to take it around the back of these 2 shorter strands. So I'm just going to lift those up, bring it around the back underneath them, and then I'm going to take the end of it and pop it up through this first loop here and bring it up through here. And then I'm just going to pull it through and slowly move it up the thing. So the first one is always the most difficult one. So just slowly bring it up, and it should look something like this. Okay, so now I'm going to do the exact same again, making sure always making that very first loop with the pink strand. So it's always the same colour. So I'm going to make the exact same loop. Obviously we're going the other direction now. So I've brought it across, and I'm making sure that I've got this loop here. I'm then going to take the rainbow strand. The rainbow strand is going to come over the top of this one. Oh, I'm going to bring it this way. Over the top of this one, like this. Underneath the 2 shorter strands here. And then up through the loop. Same again, put it tight. It's much easier, I'm doing this back to front so you can see, but it's much easier doing it towards you as well. Or doing it while you're holding it. So that's it, I'm just going to put it through there. So, with the pink strand, I'm going to make the loop that goes across, bring this all the way across. The rainbow strand comes over the top of this one, so in front of it here, comes around the back of these 2 small strands. So around, hard to hold it, around the back of these 2 small strands like that, and then up through that loop. A nice way of remembering it for the children, when they've got it laid down on the ground like this, is that this pink strand, so the one you're making the loop with, is a rabbit. So the rabbit is going to come over the trees. So the 2 strands in the middle are the trees. It's going to come over the trees to make its den. So here's our rabbit's den, this loop. And then the rabbit's friend, you could call it a fox maybe, is going to come over the hill. So this strand here, let's attach to the loop, is the hill. So it's going to come over the hill, around the back of the two trees. So these are our two trees, around the back of the two trees, and up into the rabbit's house. So up through the loop. And I'll just do one more, and then I'll show you how you finish it off. So once again, the rabbit goes in front of the two trees and makes its den. Here's our rabbit's den. It's gone in front of the trees to make the den. The fox, or the rabbit's friend, comes over the hill. So we go over the hill. It comes around the back of the two trees. And finally, it comes up into the house. And then you just pull it tight. And over time, it'll start to come down looking like this. So at the end of your bracelet, you'll have obviously the two buckles at the top, well, the buckle and the two parts at the top, the bracelet, and then 4 strands at the end. So the remains of the 2 strands, take those and put them through the other side of the buckle. So there's 1, and there's 2. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it through, and then you basically want to fold them back over like this. Okay, and then you're going to cut them quite close to it. So I'm going to cut these about here. 1 and 2. And then going to take my lighter again. And then one at a time, I'm going to start with a smaller one because it's easier. So the pink one. I'm going to, one at a time, melt the end of it. And then carefully fold it over the top and push it down onto the side of the paracord. As you can see there, it's melted onto it. I'll do the same over this rainbow one. So just melt the end of it, push it up over the top and down. You don't melt it for too long, it doesn't really burn you. But you can do it, you can obviously get another piece of paracord and push it down on top of it to not burn it off. And then I'm going to do the exact same with these side ones. So I'm just going to chop off the lengths of it, just to make life a bit easier. Undo the buckle. So I've chopped the lengths of it off, you can see the end of it here. I'm literally just going to melt the end of that and push it down onto it. That stops it from coming off. And I'm going to do the exact same with this rainbow end over here and push it down. So there you go. There is how to make a paracord bracelet.